cas, pour résumer ce qu'il faut s'inscrire dans cette lettre. La science, nous on fait de la science. Nous on travaille pour la science. Pour la science.
So, thank you for listening to the podcast. And today it's Friday, the 30th of August 2024. And I'm in my just cleaned up bar. And a good friend of mine has visited me. And we're going to talk, I think, a little bit about AI and with some toxicological connotations. Oh, and sorry to say, Maxime couldn't be with us here today, but he'll be back, I hope, in the next episode. And it's just because he was busy today. Yeah. So, Ivo, maybe you introduce yourself shortly.
Hello, thank you for joining the podcast. I'm Ivo. I'm currently a postdoctoral
Ivo,
researcher.
what's your full name? Because people have trouble.
Ivo Jidrovski. DJ.
I introduced Ivo. He gave a lecture to master students in at the VU Amsterdam about AI, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And I said his name, and I just saw him laugh. And I don't know, is that true? Did I really butcher your name? I probably did.
You probably did.
Yeah, but he was just.
But it's a classic.
Does everybody get it wrong?
Everybody gets it wrong.
Okay, Ivo. So
It's all right.
So Ivo, tell us.
Ivo Jidrovski. It's not the easiest,
So go ahead, Ivo.
but at least it's real and it's unique. You know Dr. G.
No.
Jidrovski.
Ivo, continue to introduce.
So yeah, I'm a postdoctoral researcher at Utrecht University. I'm working on the HP4 Safety project, which is a large consortium in the Netherlands, trying to build a platform to help us assess the toxicity of chemicals using alternative methods to animal testing, like in vitro and in silico methods. My background is in stem cells, stem cell biology. I did my PhD as part of In3 project together with Paul. Paul was the coordinator of In3, and that's how we met, and we've kept in touch ever since. And
now you live in Utrecht.
And now I live in Utrecht. Yeah, so it's perfect. We get to hang out.
Yeah. So Ivo's only, I'd say, 35 minutes or so, or 40 minutes door to door.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not far.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I used to in Ireland when I was doing my bachelor and PhD. I had to travel from Kingswood in Tala, Dublin, to the UCD campus, and I can't remember exactly, but I think it was 13 kilometers or so. And I did that. I went in and out every day, and sometimes I was in at the weekend. And I didn't think anything of it because it was quicker to go by bike than to go by public transport. So I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
And you could have a drink as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you can have a drink on a bus too. Ivo, so yeah, do we feel that the listeners know enough about you? I think maybe it's interesting where you're from, if you want to say.
I'm
Where you grew up. Yeah.
I'm originally from North Macedonia. It's where I lived my first 12 years. And then I moved to France, in Lyon. I went to international school, where I learned English and French. And then my last year of high school, I moved to Vienna, in the French lycée. And then I came back to Lyon because I missed it. I missed my friends.
You've made a lot of good friends in your life.
I made a lot of great friends.
Yeah.
I met a lot of great friends. People that have inspired me.
But you still have a lot of friends.
Of course, always.
No, it's not normal. It's not fully usual. That's what I'm saying.
It's not fully usual. That's true.
So I had Oh, I think it's not true either. I was going to say I felt like I had very few friends, but if I think a little bit deeper, that's not true. That's not at all true. Yeah, no, I'm wrong. I also have more friends than I think.
Well, because I was in an international school, most of my friends actually live in different countries all around the world. But every time for Christmas, we all meet up in Lyon.
Oh, nice.
And
How long have you
for
been
New
doing?
Year's, we always party together.
How long have you been
And
doing
we
that
do
for?
this for forever.
Can't be forever.
For many years, I don't know, 10 years plus.
Oh,
maybe?
nice. I know.
10 plus years.
I know a lot of people do that.
In summertime, we also go on holiday sometimes. You met one of my mates, Albin. He was here.
Oh yeah, I like the album.
Yeah,
He was French, right?
Yeah, he's French, but he was in an international school as well. So
Oh,
he grew up in Belgium.
just to prove it, say something in French.
Salut les gars, comment ça va?
Now say the same thing in Macedonian.
Kako se dečki, što se šao?
That's different.
Yeah.
That's very different. Yeah. But you learned French when you were so young, eh?
Yeah, when I was 12. I started learning French when I was 12.
12? That's tough.
But it
isn't
took me 3 years to master it.
Yeah, okay.
And even today, because I don't use it as much, I feel like I'm losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not sure if people would notice unless I tell them my name.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
If you know what I mean.
But they said there's a saying: if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's very the same with languages. There's a good friend of mine. He's the manager of the pub, the Galway Bay in Innsbruck. Tom Hester, and I think he told me. I hope if you hear this, Tom, I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but I think so. Tom is a Gaelic Irish speaker from birth, and he told me that, or maybe probably he didn't tell me. Somebody else told me that he was forgetting it a lot, and it was difficult for him to like chat to his family and stuff like that sometimes. If he and lots of people told me that. Anya Vilnius, who also did one of these podcasts, she told me that, or I knew that when I employed her in Innsbruck for the first time, she was in New Zealand, and when she came to Innsbruck after being in New Zealand for 3 years, and I think in Australia for 1 year, she couldn't understand the Tyrolean German, so she just spoke English all the time, even though she's a native German speaker. Yeah. So if you don't use it, you lose it. But you do use it because you speak to your family a bit, right?
Mostly to my friends.
But
I only speak French to half of my friends.
But your mum and dad, do you speak Macedonian?
With some of my friends, we only speak English because that's how we always spoke, and then it remained.
Even your
because like with Alvin, we speak in English.
Really?
Even though he's French, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what me and
Because
Max.
that's how we talk. We've always talked in English. So
but myself,
it's weird to switch.
Myself and Max do that as well, but it's mostly because I don't speak French.
Of course.
Well, I think we've introduced Evo well. If you ever get,
I didn't finish my story.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So I did my my uni at Lyon, at Lyon 1 University. I studied. I did a licence of GBC. It's called Genetics and Cell Biology, and then I did a master's in genetics. And
you did genetics.
I did genetics, yeah.
Well, why did you know too much about the transcriptomics and the N3 project then?
Well, what do you mean? That was all about bioinformatics at the time.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
If you don't know bioinformatics, you can't do genetics. That's how it is. But at least I knew the biology behind it.
Oh, sorry. You studied the biology of genetics.
Yeah.
So I have my own idea. It's not that I don't know. We were talking about epigenetics, and can you explain to a layperson what epigenetics is?
Epigenetics, for me, the easiest way to describe it is having a knot, like tying a knot with a piece of rope, and then each side of the rope is not going to be equally exposed to the exterior side. Some pieces of the rope are going to be inside tied up, whereas other pieces are not.
So you're talking.
And this is
Wait,
practically how
just for
the
everybody.
DNA is
Yeah,
folded.
but you're talking about chromatin now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like some people listening are not biologists at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, but let me explain.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So DNA, which is the genetic material, is folded just like a knot. And some areas of it are going to be accessible for the proteins inside the nucleus of the cell, and accessible for them to make the product. And this is epigenetics. How it's studying how the DNA is compacted and folded in, and which areas of it are accessible for that cell. Because each cell, even though it has the same DNA, regardless of where it is in the body, inside the nucleus, the DNA will be folded differently.
Folded differently.
Yeah.
Okay, Ivo, how the fuck does it know?
Because it's a program.
But where is the
It
program?
initiates in the stem cell.
But if the program is in the DNA, how does it know to do that?
It's not. I wouldn't say it's in the DNA. The DNA is this. In theory, is the same in every single cell of your body, but when it starts off as a stem cell, it starts nodding.
No,
like imagine it as a robe. It starts nodding.
But you're misunderstanding my question. My question is, if the DNA encodes proteins and stuff like that, right? So we always think of things at one snapshot in time.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, how does the cell know to even do that?
Because it's previously pre-folded.
Where's the code? Where's the fucking code, I'm asking? Where is that encoded for the cell to do that?
It's the stem cell, the initial stem cell when you're born.
You're just describing a cell. Where is the information in the cell to do all of that?
In the... No. The information is the way that the DNA is compacted.
But how does
the information is in the DNA that gives the products?
No.
And then how it is compacted inside determines which products can be made by this.
Oh, you're talking about structure. You're talking about structure, not philosophy now.
No, I'm just talking about how the DNA is compacted and shaped.
That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. Let's move in. Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. I'm getting frustrated with this conversation, like I always do with Ivo.
This is what I think.
So, Ivo, tell us about AI and what is it? What it's useful for in your daily life, and then why you're using it, or why it's not that you're using it. You're using it, and you're so enthused. Actually, Ivo, since ChatGPT came out, hasn't fucking stopped talking about it. It's everything. Every time you meet him, it's AI. And now when you look in even toxicological aspects, you see a lot about AI. And there's Matthew Vinkin, for example, is a coordinator of a project called OnTox, and and that project is about AI in toxicology. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Ivo. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say that is true. I've been very hooked on the new tools that have been coming up lately, like ChatGPT and Claude and other open source models.
What are these things?
But these are mainly large language models.
And what's a large language module, or what is it? Large language model.
Large language model is AI, but AI is also other things like machine learning.
No, don't just make another acronym. We're trying to explain AI, and you say that's AI.
Models that can predict language.
What does it do?
They predict the next word.
What I wanted to hear, you told me that before. these ChatGPTs predict a word, the next word.
They predict the next word.
Yeah.
In simple terms.
And it might sound really crazy, but our brains work in a similar process. So we're getting close to computation complexity in programming, closer to how biology works in the programming level.
Yeah.
Go forward.
So I've been using these tools ever since they came out. Actually, even before ChatGPT came out, when I had my company In3 Solutions to organize scientific events, I used GPT-2 to generate marketing ideas. for
really?
for LinkedIn posts. Yeah.
I thought you were just crazy.
And then ChatGPT came out, and one of my buddies shared the link to me right away, because we've been following OpenAI ever since their creation. And when I saw ChatGPT, I instantly tried it out. At the time, it was ChatGPT 3.5,
Oh, I tried that one as well.
fine-tuned ChatGPT. It was the basic version, and instantly I thought, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, I tried it with a protocol. Give me a step-by-step protocol to test microplastics on THP1 cells. I tried that as a prompt, and it gave me the whole protocol that we actually use in the lab.
And let me tell you, a lot of people in scientific environments think that's cheating. But that's stupid. I mean, if you can do something faster, why is it cheating?
I mean, I just tried this with the first basic model, and I saw this happen in front of my eyes, and
you
I
went,
could not
"Fuck
believe
me,"
it.
yeah.
I was like,
No,
it's over. It's over.
I started with 3.5 as well, and I was also super amazed. I was on the reserve list, so but probably you told me to do it. But I was super amazed with it. It was incredible. But then quickly the universities got worried about it because there's no point of exams anymore.
That's
because
true.
you can use it to inform you, and you can use it to write the theses and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
And also, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you fed it the information.
And then GPT-4 came out shortly after.
What was different between GDP4 and GDP3 in your?
Well, 3.5 was hallucinating a lot more. It didn't have the newest up-to-date info. It wasn't as smart. It wasn't as intelligent. The output was vague and short, but it still worked.
Yeah, but
as a basic feature, like, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it become way better.
Oh no, of course, it'll progress. Of course, I mean it's already progressing so quickly. What do you think about those chatbots on web pages? That it was pre ChatGPT. I always found them a bit.
No,
it's like
before large language models, it was conversational design, and it wasn't as great.
It was like frequently asked questions.
Like now, it's all about prompt engineering. So you have to think of what kind of output you want to give to the user. Whereas before, you had to design entire conversational flows for the chatbot.
So it was more complicated.
It was way more complicated, and you had to study your audience, your user, and so on and so on. Whereas large language models, they adapt according to your style of asking the question.
So let Ivo then explain what he does and how, in general, and what it might be good for the project.
At first, I was really into microbiome, and I still am. And I believe it plays a crucial role in toxicology. But AI tools have been developing very quickly in the past year, which made me more excited about that area than microbiome. And because I was really into AI for quite some time, and I was using ChatGPT all the time.
And can I interrupt?
Of course,
Can I interrupt? So, Ivo's, all his businesses were mainly educational. So the Entry Solutions was to facilitate online conferences in a less boring way, so you could move around and meet people and stuff like that. And all of these conferences, of course, are mostly for education, for PhD students to interact with each other. So I think your fascination with AI also stems from the fact that you thought there was educational or even quicken up science. So not profit wise, but
of course.
But that you could go quicker with the microbiome if you first let the AI get better, right? Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
I think a lot of things can be solved with AI. Like when I saw the possibilities of the tools that are being developed, I definitely.
Ivo, did you like that beer?
Yeah, it was very good. Let's. I'll have another.
I would say, just in case anybody's wondering, but in the other podcasts as well, during COVID, I built a small bar which makes
Cheers.
which also is a TV room and a gaming room and a workshop and a bit of a lab. So I have a fridge with nice beer, and Ivo's just pouring one into his glass
Yep.
as we speak.
It's very nice beers.
Yeah,
Blanche de Namur.
that was from yours at the Ralenkaal.
Very nice. So what I'm doing now is I'm building agents based on large language models.
Now,
so it's going beyond the regular.
I think I'm an 11-year-old person. What the hell is an agent?
An agent is an entity that can perform tasks for you. Something that can perform tasks. In this case, I would say an agent. If you're in a playground with children and it's like sand and you ask a kid to build a sandcastle, and you teach him how to build a sandcastle, and then you ask it, okay, this is how you build a sandcastle. Now build a sandcastle for me.
Yeah.
And every time you ask it build a sandcastle for me, it will make the sandcastle exactly as you showed it the first time.
So it's restricted somehow.
It is restricted, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And you can equip it with a shovel and a bucket.
Yeah.
It will do it more efficiently.
Oh wow. Okay. Gotcha.
So in this case, in the case of VHP for safety, the idea would be to create these agents.
Oh, we should probably explain. Oh, you did already explain what BHP for safety was, but I think maybe you didn't.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe
yeah.
I.
Say what's unique about it, because there's so many projects.
So what's unique about it?
Well, one thing it's only
case studies.
One thing it's a Dutch project, so wholly funded by the Dutch government.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vel.
Yep. And I think the case studies are very unique because none of them.
They're not that unique, because I'm doing pretty similar in a couple of other projects. I'm in a case study.
We're basically building a platform with different services
to do what exactly?
To assist in the risk assessment process of case studies that are quite difficult, such as.
What do you mean by case? You mean a compound, or?
No, like one case study is Parkinson's disease, and we want to understand how pesticides.
So a case study is a scientific curiosity or something like that.
More like a problem that we want to solve, and use the case study is meant to be an example.
Right, that's what it is. It's an example. It's a small sample of a bigger issue, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So you got these example projects, or example subsections of the VHP.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
these case studies are all related to regulatory questions that the regulators of the RIVM are trying to answer.
Yeah. So regulation means basically that the government will check if new chemicals are made, or there's too many chemicals in the pollutions and stuff like that. So these are governmental bodies. Sorry, Hugo.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So for each of the case studies, we need to perform certain in vitro and in silico experiments.
So that's wet work and computational work. Okay, it's probably getting boring also for you, I think. So what's the reason for AI?
Well, what I think we can do is create these agents and make a semi-automated risk assessment using AI. What do I mean by that? Is having an interface where a risk assessor can upload a CSV file with unknown compounds and their smiles, or...
Smiles is a computer simulation of a structure, or computer code of a structure, written alphabetically.
Or any information related to it, and then it automatically tells you which compound out of this group of compounds that you want to assess is risky for what purpose? It will predict.
Which part of the body it could damage. Yeah.
For instance, it will predict immunotoxicity,
But what about
skin,
But what about
genotox.
what about concentrations we always talk about? So the difference between hazard assessment and risk assessment is mostly the hazard assessment is just is it going to be toxic and how and where and
Yeah.
but the risk assessment, because if you're not exposed to a compound, it's not toxic.
Of course.
So
But before,
how
before
will
you're
it know?
exposed to it.
No, but how does it know? So you can say a compound, because you can get a compound that you'll take it as much as you possibly can, and it'll kill your liver.
Yeah.
And that's information that the chemical authorities would like to know. So this is a hepatotoxin. But if you never took it, it's not an hepatotoxin. So how will the AI know how much you take? Because that's binary. I was talked about 0 and 100 is taking it, not, or 0 and 1 is taking it, not taking it. But actually, it's much more complicated than that, because it's how much you take at a certain given period of time. So how much is in your body? So you could be exposed for a very long period of time to a very dangerous chemical, but if it's low enough, it's not dangerous to you.
I agree with what you're saying, and the question needs to be broken down into several steps, and you would need to use several tools to be able to answer the question itself.
But how do we approach it?
So you approach it by breaking down the question into a workflow, like how would you actually answer this question, and then automating every single piece of the workflow.
So actually, this is Marcel Leist, together with lots of other people, in the Risk Hunter project, which is a sister project of the Ontox project, has developed a workflow. I think there was lots of other people involved, heavily involved. So I don't know, I can't mention all of them. But and this is called the ASPIS workflow, and I think that's going to be the basis. And it's not fully original, because I've seen the things before, but they were never developed. So this one, I think, will be continued to be developed until it becomes the standard.
I think it's a great start. I think.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very good start, and I think we'll need to adopt the same framework to our case studies. So.
Yeah, I agree, because if the case study is, because what I do is basically I put compounds on kidney cells, human kidney cells, and I measure stuff. I mean, that's what I do, and I'm paid, or I get the money from the project to do that. So that's what I do, but I'm not sure it's really that helpful for the project's goal. But maybe they wanted me in also for my thought processes and stuff. And actually, if I wasn't in, Evo wouldn't be in, so maybe.
No, but think about it this way: you create agents equipped with tools. For instance, a tool could be, I don't know, this tool that I made is BridgeDB, and what it does is it links all the mappings.
Yeah, Evo was just showing me this. He showed me the script.
So what it does is it fetches all the identifiers for a gene. So if you say, I don't know, TP53, it will fetch all the links for all the databases of the gene.
And people use TP53 for a lot of things, because it's a gene called P53, called because its molecular weight is 53 kilodaltons. And it's the key between cancer and aging, actually. And I'm not going to get into that.
Guardian of the genome.
It's the guardian of the genome, yeah. Have you seen one of my lectures? Because that's what I call it.
It's what everybody calls it.
No.
But I have seen.
You've seen one, but
I've seen your lecture, but I
people call it something.
Somebody called it. It's how I studied it in France also.
Oh, okay.
Everybody calls it.
I always think I'm original, but obviously not. Because I had the picture from the Guardian of the Galaxy on that same slide.
Yeah.
So I thought I was being original, but unfortunately, we just were talking before the podcast. This thing about if you put an infinite number of monkeys in infinite space and gave them an infinite number of typewriters, would they write the complete works of Shakespeare back to back without any spelling mistakes? And I said that's impossible without iterations. And Evo said no. then you don't understand infinity, because infinity means that will happen. So basically, if it's possible to happen, it will happen, given enough time.
Infinity, yeah.
Yeah.
Given infinity, of course.
But biology makes infinity faster, or the probabilities quicker, because it learns. It has self-learning, and the AI does that as well.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, right? It learns from what it's being active at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, what ChatGPT is very useful for is uploading documents in there, and then it will learn what the content is and give you.
I wanted to ask you, Ivo,
personalized, statements.
if I put something like really private in there,
Yeah.
can that be found? Like, I heard there was a case.
You can. So I don't know if this is the case for free users, but if you're a subscriber, you can go into settings and turn off improve our models setting, and
Yeah.
then it will switch it off. And also, if you're based in the EU, there's a link where OpenAI allows you to delete all your data and download it, so then you know what they've collected from you so far.
But they might have copied it.
And I downloaded the data that they've collected on me, and it's just usage logs, like
So you
how
thi-
often I've used the
So
app.
do you think the information gets scrambled after you send it? Like they're not saving it as if I upload a PDF, for example. Do you think they just delete that and just use the information from it for the AI, or are they keeping all our documents?
No, they're not, because that would cost them too much. They just temporarily keep it until.
So they're just using the information for the AI, you believe?
Yeah.
Okay. Because a hospital got in trouble where one of the workers used the AI with patient data. I can't remember the details. But you're saying, it's a legal process now. Are you saying she's fine? Because if it's not possible that they can get the information, then she shouldn't lose that case, right?
I don't know. I'm not a.
So you're not
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the law.
No, not the law. Just simply, are you saying there's no way, Jose, that they keep that data?
I don't think so. But who am I to say?
Yeah, okay.
It's not
So
my.
you don't know.
I don't know.
You're really sure they don't, but you couldn't prove it.
I have no proof. It's what they
Yeah.
say. But then how can I know?
Okay, we went on
I
a
don't know
massive
anything.
sidetrack now. What were we talking about before?
No, I was just talking about agents and equipping them with tools.
Okay, go back to that if you remember where you were.
So if let's just say you want to upload a list of chemicals with smiles. It will look at the physical chemical properties of each and one of them, or estimate them. Then it will look up all the information that is known about them. And if there's nothing known about them, it will look for similar compounds based on their structure by using QSR models that will identify descriptors to help you choose the chemicals that you can compare. And then you do read across and you select databases of similar compounds to what your initial compound was. So you would have two agents in this case. You would equip one with OECD QSR toolbox, which allows you to do all these three things. And each agent would be doing a specific task using the tool. And then the next step would be using AOP Wiki and proposing in vitro models.
But Ivo,
Yeah.
do you think, now we're coming to the end, do you think that AI will eventually just do it itself? That you put in a compound and it'll do all the predictions? Because it has all the data.
What I would need is a framework for,
No, not
for
now.
choosing in vitro models.
No, but not now. Like in I don't know, 15 years?
For sure, I think we can automate everything.
No, but do you think that I, as a person, can just write in chemical structure and it'll tell me all of, even if it's not known yet,
Yeah.
it'll just tell me all of the toxicities and the potential pharmacological targets. They're the same things,
Yeah.
actually.
I think so.
Yeah. So toxic. Well, that's more complicated. I won't get into it. Just a lot of.
I think you'll be able to design from scratch new compounds that are safe by
That's
design.
also what I wanted to ask you. Yeah, safe by design. But we have a lot of chemicals already out there, so we want to check if they're also fine. The reason I was saying that was, what was I saying before?
I'm just gonna say this thing. There's this library called BioBricks,
Thomas Hartung keeps talking about
Yeah,
that.
BioBricks, game changer. What it does is it allows you to unify data from various sources and databases, like PubChem or ClinVar, Clinical Variant, or QSR, Toolbox, all sorts of databases unified.
And you need
that
a
you can
command
work
line
with
to
them.
use it.
You do need a command line.
Yeah,
to
see,
use
I
it.
couldn't use it because
But perhaps agents can use it.
don't be sexist on our podcast.
There we go. Agents.
Oh, agents! I thought you said Asians.
Asians? What are you talking about?
I think you said Asians.
Asians, no. Agents.
Agents. Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
We just need to equip the agents with the data, and then
But then you need.
equip it in the framework.
But then it costs money because you have to have servers and stuff, right?
It costs money, but that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, how much money does it cost an animal in vitro testing? In vitro testing is more expensive at the moment than animal testing
Mm-hmm.
because you have to do so many assays.
I mean, you're still gonna have to do in vitro testing, but this will at least guide you in choosing the correct in vitro model,
But we get
the
to
correct endpoint,
But we get to
assay, and everything.
But then we kind of get to the point in the subject of toxicology. You think we won't need animals anymore, right? I hope.
I absolutely think we won't.
Timeline.
I don't know, like 10 years
10 years, AI.
at most.
There you go. That's the most optimistic thing I've ever heard.
At most 10 years.
Usually I summarize these things, but I'm going to ask Eva.
But I also think it could be less than 10.
No, at most. No, I understand what at most means. I also speak English, but poorly. But all right, it's not poorly. It's a dialect. Ivo, just summarize again, very quickly, what do you think AI is, what it does for society, and then specifically for toxicology.
Well, I think it's a tool without a purpose, and I think it's an extension of our own minds. For toxicology or beyond, regardless of your use case, I think it can help every single one of us. Regardless of where we are in the world or what we want to do, one of the hurdles is people don't realize its potential, and I really encourage.
It's new though. It's really new.
It's very new, but it will become more and more accessible as time goes by because these companies are investing in making these tools more accessible.
I'm sorry,
to people.
I was going to say you're summarizing, but now I have two more questions. The second we'll probably forget, but the first one is, what happens to our jobs? Will we not all lose our jobs? Why will they pay people if AI can do everything?
Well, I think we're going to be able to automate a lot of things, and we're going to start automating very fast. And
But how do people survive if there's no more jobs?
there's going to be a lot of things to do, always. Creation never stops. Curiosity is endless.
But if all these mundane tasks, that's probably 80% of the workforce. What will they do?
You can still. I think there will be clads of different choices. So it will be ideological.
Give me an example.
I think the world will divide in terms of ideologies, and there will be traditional people that want to keep things as they are, and then there will be people who will evolve into something else.
No, I'm on a much lower level than you're thinking there. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking I work in Jumbo across here, right? If I did, and then AI can do all of that, so I have no job anymore. How do I feed myself? How do I get money? If AI
Universal basic income.
But who's paying for it if nobody has jobs?
Taxation of automation.
You pay for the services.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And you get paid. Everybody gets paid.
But then only the rich will have the service and they can manipulate. Then we've got a king again.
No, I think we need to have an AI revolution and have an AI government and everything. Otherwise, the ultra rich are definitely going to take over.
But why would AI care about humans?
Because I personally believe AI is just a tool that has no purpose, and humans are the ones who will decide.
Yeah, but we had a pre-conversation about this. If AI, so in my opinion, and it's only opinion, that the only definition of life is to survive, to exist. And you can clearly show that's the case in DNA, and you can clearly show that's the case in cells, because only one cell made all of the cells that are around today. There was one proliferation event because it killed all the other ones. So if AI is the continuation of life, it might say humans are not necessary for my continuation.
That's okay.
But
I
then
still believe humans will evolve, as every species has in the history of the planet.
But Evo isn't.
I think we're just going to evolve and become Homo futurus or something else.
No, but
or
Evo
whatever.
is our evolution not maybe that we created the AI? That was our evolution.
No, we did.
Yeah, but
I think we're gonna continue evolving with it. We can coexist. I believe in coexistence. I believe that all life is going to be valuable.
But you think the
I
AI?
also believe that computers will be made into cells. We will have biological computers.
Yeah, that we already have. But
We already have, but this time it will be much more advanced.
No, sure. I mean, look,
Perfected and
yeah,
so on.
I have big problems with that. That's why I'm writing a book. Oh my God, we're 4 years writing this now. It's called Frankenstein's Followers, as the draft title with Walter Fowler. And the reason for the book is that we wanted to say that this is dangerous. Biological brains are dangerous. But anyway, back to the AI, which is non-biological. Why do you think that? What you seem to think it's going to be a nice entity, and not a like life just wants to succeed. It doesn't care how it gets there.
I believe that AI is only but a reflection of humanity, and most humans are fundamentally good, even though they do bad things in their own.
That's correct.
setting.
That's correct. In your
But they're still good, ultimately.
No, you're right, because it learned from what we gave it, right? But it can change. It can evolve.
Yeah, of course it can.
And it might evolve to a benevolent being, to us at least, because it'll want to just exist.
I don't think so, because I believe
Well,
humans are more destructive to humans than AI is.
that's not. That's absolutely not true. We had a lot of wars and shit, but there's 8 billion people on this planet today. I mean, we're like a fucking ant colony. If you've ever looked at the population of humans over time, only about 10 years ago, it was 5 billion. I mean, or maybe not 5 years ago, but very not that long ago as you'd expect, it was 5 billion. I mean, at some stage on this earth, there was only 100,000 humans, or sapiens. I'm just saying that now I've completely forgotten what I was saying.
I don't know.
AI could be benevolent.
As can humans be.
Because it can change. It can just
And
evolve.
so can humans. And I also believe in human evolution. I believe in.
But I don't
common
think
good.
we're a nasty species.
I also don't believe we're nasty species. I think we're great people.
I think
In general, people are great regardless of their background. And I've known people from all backgrounds, regardless.
I think that's why people are afraid of
where they're from.
Sorry, Ivo. That's why people are afraid of, or always think everything's going bad in the world, because we're so sensitive about it. And now with the news, so we all feel sorry for what's happening in Israel and Palestine.
No, the world is definitely getting better.
No, but 20 years ago you wouldn't have known about it because you'd had so much trouble in your own country. So you wouldn't, because everywhere was at war at some stage. And I think it's getting much better, right?
For the whole world on a global level,
Yeah.
it's definitely getting way better than before.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
But of course, some environments are going to be more affected by global warming and climate change. And there's going to be migration and wars and, and so on.
I truly think climate change
I think it's a race between climate change and accelerationism.
But AI can help, maybe.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think AI can help us get to fusion faster, and then the next step will be decarbonization of this planet.
Jesus Christ, that's so...
And then it will be terrifying planet Mars.
Why Mars? That's boring.
Because it's right next to us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. It's close, yeah.
It's close.
Yeah. What happened to Mars? Why did it not have life? But maybe it was simply because we were just lucky.
I don't know, but I do believe that life can live as long as there's an atmosphere. So
what made our atmosphere?
I don't know.
Cyanobacteria. Life started before the fucking atmosphere.
Maybe we can bring it.
Oh no, it made the oxygen in the atmosphere. Sorry. And that made the ozone layer.
Maybe we'll find a way to create an atmosphere.
No, of course.
on Mars.
No, you're right. We can do it. We just need to know the conditions.
Exactly.
And AI can just speed up these things.
Yeah.
Very good, Evo. Well, that was actually quite wonderful. Thank you very much, Evo.
But this is what I believe. I could very well be wrong. Like
No, you just believe it.
It's a race.
You just
this
believe
is
No,
I think the clock is ticking for us. So we have to
speed up.
speed up.
So we need AI.
I definitely believe we need AI. We need people to be more interested in it. Use it to learn. Use it to automate tasks in their daily life. Make their life better.
Easier, you mean?
Like easier and better because they can improve by asking questions and being curious. That's all it takes.
But a lot of people work and their job is just to look at the clock and can't wait till it's finished. So they can't make it easier.
If they use AI, which I believe will become more and more accessible, they would improve their life and not do something that they don't like, but rather something that really interests them.
But I'm still confused about how you get paid if AI does everything. Anyway, I think we'll call it a day. And Ivo, maybe you say goodbye to everybody in all your 3 languages.
Goodbye, everybody. Au revoir. Merci beaucoup. Hvala mnogo.
That's nice. And in Ireland, in Irish, it's sláinte, and yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Sláinte is what you say for cheers, no?
Yeah. But it also means.
Don't lie to us.
Oh no, sorry, sorry. Eva just called me out on a miss neuron. It's not sláinte. It is cheers. It means health. We could say health when we say goodbye because that would be nice, but we don't. We say slán.
Slán.
Yeah. And that's.
Are you sure about that one?
Yeah. And when you say.
Why is it slán cha?
So normally you say it also means health, I think. So when you say slán awalya, it means come home safely, and nice. we say that quite a lot. I mean, we say it in English as well, but it just sounds nicer in Irish. Slán awalya. So actually, everybody who's listening, then I'm going to wish you that you come home safe if you're not already at home. So slán awalya.
Des grands amis. En tout cas, pour résumer ce qu'il faut savoir en cette lettre. La science, nous on fait de la science.